for him to do his job. My view is this. We stand with the Israeli people. We link arms with them. If we disagree with them, like this president has time and time again, we don't do it in public like he's done it. We do it in private. And we let the Israeli leadership describe what they believe the right course is going forward. We don't negotiate for the Israeli people. We stand with the Israeli people, stand with our friends, and make it very clear. We're going to tell the truth. But we're not going to throw incendiary words into a place which is a boiling pot when our friends, the Israelis, would probably say, what in the world are you doing?
So there you have it, Mr. Speaker. He says this is going to make life more difficult for the Israelis.
The Israelis are getting rocketed every day. We're not making life more difficult. The Obama administration is making life more difficult. The fact is, the Palestinian claim to a right of return is based on a historically false story. Somebody ought to have the courage to go all the way back to the 1921 League of Nations mandate for a Jewish homeland, point out the context in which Israel came into existence, and Palestinian did not become a common term until after 1977. This is a propaganda war in which our side refuses to engage, and we refuse to tell the truth while the other side lies, and you're not going to win in the long run if you're afraid to stand firm and stand for the truth.
Of course you stand firm and stand for the truth, but you don't speak for Israel.
I did.
If Bibi Netanyahu wants to say what you said, let him say it. But our ally, the people of Israel, should be able to take their own positions and not have us negotiate for them.
I want to turn, if I can,
Can I just say one last thing? Because I didn't speak for the people of Israel. I spoke as a historian who has looked at the world stage for a very long time. I've known Bibi since 1984. I feel quite confident an amazing number of Israelis found it nice to have an American tell the truth about the war they are in the middle of and the casualties they're taking and the people who surround them who say you do not have the right to exist and we want to destroy you.
I've known Bibi. I've also known Bibi Netanyahu for a long time. We worked together at Boston Consulting Group. And the last thing Bibi Netanyahu needs to have is not just a person who's an historian, but somebody who is also running for president of the United States. Stand up and say things that create extraordinary tumult in his neighborhood. And if I'm president of the United States, I will exercise sobriety, care, stability, and make sure that in a setting like this, anything I say that can affect a place with rockets going in, with people dying, I don't do anything that would harm that process. And therefore, before I made a statement of that nature, I get on the phone to my friend Bibi Netanyahu and say, would it help if I said this? What would you like me to do? Let's work together because we're partners. I'm not a bomb thrower, rhetorically or literally.
Under the rules, we need to let you respond.
I think sometimes it is helpful to have a president of the United States with the courage to tell the truth, just as it was Ronald Reagan, who went around his entire national security apparatus to call the Soviet Union an evil empire, and who overruled his entire State Department in order to say, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Reagan believed the power of truth restated the world and reframed the world. I'm a Reaganite. I'm proud to be a Reaganite. I will tell the truth. It's at the risk of causing some confusion sometimes with the timid.
I think it's important to get everybody in on this. Who's got the better of this argument, Congresswoman Bachmann? Who's got the better of this argument?
Who has the better of this argument?
Yeah.
In 1974, I went to Israel for the first time, and I worked on a kibbutz for the summer. And I saw a brand new nation that had begun in 1948 and was making its way into the modernization that we know today. They're a first world nation. I was able to return as a member of Congress multiple times, and I also met with Fayed in Ramallah, in the very room that Arafat used as his conference room. When I was in there, I had asked Fayed about the issue that we were very concerned about, and that's how the Palestinians teach their children to hate the Jews and call them pigs and swine and descendants from apes.
But do you think it's right to call them invented people?
And I had asked him about this very important issue, because how do you find peace when you continue to teach your children hatred? And I asked Fayed about this issue, and he said, oh, we don't do that anymore. Our textbooks aren't filled with that. And I said, oh, really? I pulled out a manila envelope that I'd brought with me, and I pulled out the pages that I'd photocopied out of current books that were being used that clearly showed that. And he said, oh, but these are old textbooks. And I said, really? Well, then why don't you send me the new textbooks that no longer say that and compare them with the old? And I checked my mailbox today. He still hasn't sent me those textbooks. That's what needs to change.
Senator Santorum, let me put to you George's question.